Hey, welcome to RCAM. I'm your host, Ryan, and thank you for tuning in today. So today we have a full episode for you. We are going to be talking about Mr.Beast's recent charity event and how, of course, he's getting backlash over that. We will also be talking about a Florida teen who defaced a pride mural. Yes, we had discussed this before, but there's developments. We're also going to be talking about pretty much a demented video that made the rounds on X from the San Francisco Pride Parade. Probably one of the most repulsive things I've ever seen on the internet, unwillingly. And we'll discuss the Tuah girl because she's getting a lot of attention still. And does she deserve it? I think not. And lastly, we'll be talking about NickMercs' ban on Twitch. All right, so if you like this content, please like, follow, subscribe, do all of those things. That helps me grow, and I definitely appreciate it. And I'd love to hear from you in chat. Now, before we get into the content, I do just want to let you guys know that typically I stream Tuesday through Friday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I will be taking a break this week because I am going on vacation. I am getting out of here, taking a break from the internet, and just spending some time with my family. So I will not be doing any live streams this next week, starting tomorrow. I will probably upload some videos or clips from videos that I've done already. So that way there's a consistent flow of content until I get back. But yeah, I'm taking a break and I'm excited about it. So I definitely look forward to stepping away from the internet for a little bit and just unplugging. So, all right. So as you guys know, I've covered Mr.Beast a couple of times on this. Recently, I covered his cross-dressing friend, Chris Tyson. And, I don't just focus on the bad, but I also focus on the good. And in this case, with Mr.Beast donating 100 houses to people in need, I think that's pretty good. I think that's a good thing. I don't know about you, but it seems to me like you can't. That's something that it would be difficult to find fault with. Somebody's building people in need houses, fantastic. Unless you're the internet, and then you find reasons to be angry about things. And this is not surprising because each one of his philanthropic adventures has caused some degree of backlash. So first, I'll play you a little trailer for his recent video, and then we'll discuss. All right, here we go.
In this video, we are building and giving away 100 houses. And each home is going to change a family's life. Like this family, who didn't have a house to call their own. And they have no idea we just built them one. Take off your blindfolds and turn around. Behind you is your brand new home. Oh, I was not expecting that reaction.
What a monster. Can you believe this guy? Can you believe that he would build people houses? I'm appalled. I'm disgusted. Him actually meeting the needs of a country that's in a place of desperation. Rude. Absolutely rude. All right. So let's cover some of the responses to this. So this guy, Healer, and this one is the one that was making the most rounds. Healer says, Mr.Beast once again displaying his white savior complex while looking like a literal colonizer. And I like this community note here. Mr.Beast built 100 houses for people in need that would not have a roof to sleep under. At no point in this video does he colonize a country. The revenue generated by these videos spent on more charity projects. It's also worth noting this user has never built a home. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good note, pretty accurate, pretty on par, and it's amazing. So first of all, white savior complex. he's just a guy that's helping people in need. Nobody says this about him when he's helping other people in need. Nobody says this about him when he's giving free cars away. Nobody says about this when he's buying random people houses. But because he's doing it for people that have different skin color, suddenly it's a problem. Or if he's doing it in another country, it's a problem. And also, by the way, I need to get something off my chest, something that bothers me. What is wrong with colonizing? See, that word is often used negatively. Oh, you colonizer. But what's wrong with colonizing? I think Jamaica would benefit from colonization. Because I'm pretty sure, no, it's not Jamaica, but Jamaica's pretty bad. But, places like Jamaica, places like Haiti, where they're, murdering people, I think they need a little bit of colonization. I do, and colonization is the act of setting up colonies. And that's what the Pilgrims did when they arrived. They set up colonies in uncivilized lands and did end up subjugating, conquering the natives. And I'm here for it. I don't have a problem with that. If said civilization is on the brink of collapse, are scalping people, are sacrificing people, are murdering people, are in a dire state, then yeah, I love me some colonization. In fact, we wouldn't have any of the modern wonders that we have without it. So a lot of people are crying about colonization as they type it from their their iPhone in their air-conditioned apartment in their designer clothes. Talking about the plights of colonization. Give me a break. Really, just give me a break. Colonization is good, actually. All right? I'm gonna throw it out there. It's good. Let's colonize some more. Let's bring civilization to people. I think that's a net positive for everybody. So yeah, I don't have a problem with that. So colonize away. But in this case, he's not doing it. He's not colonizing. He's just building people houses and leaving. He's not going there establishing colonies of Americans. No, he's building them houses and that's it. Asking for nothing in return. The only thing that he gets in return is views, maybe some financial support. And by the way, all the proceeds that he makes from these videos, he uses for more charity products or projects. So, I can understand having criticisms with Mr.Beast. This is not one of them. This is actually one of the great things that he does. And this isn't the first time he did it. We'll talk more about some of the other things that he's done. But we have this comment from 9mm SMG, which, by the way, he actually is a pretty good follow. I just don't agree with this take. He says, Mr.Beast would be shocked to know that there are American homeless people who urgently need help. Telescopic philanthropy is cancerous. Helping Americans doesn't get you nearly as many likes, though. All right, this is going to sound very insensitive, but I'm just gonna say it. Our homeless people are actually all right. Our homeless people are more wealthy than most of the people in the world. I've seen the homeless in other nations, and our homeless people got it good. I'm just being real. And the difference between our homeless and homeless elsewhere is there is no other help. There's no plan B. There's no public services where they're giving them free housing, food stamps, WIC, and all these other perks that Americans are afforded. But that doesn't happen. We take care of our homeless so good that people from these countries are immigrating here and getting our benefits. So no, we actually don't need to worry about our homeless people. They are well taken care of. And the ones that aren't well taken care of don't want it. They don't want it. They don't want the help. They rather spend their money on drugs and alcohol. That's the truth. Maybe an uncomfortable truth, but that's the truth. And just so that you guys They think, oh, Ryan doesn't know. He's disconnected. I'm not. I worked in supported housing. My job for like 3 years was getting homeless people off the streets and into affordable housing. And you want to know what they did with their subsidized rent? That they were only paying 30% of their total monthly income. Even if their income was nothing, guess what? They paid nothing. They lived for free. We floated the bill. And then they got utilities. They got a free brand new apartment handed to them, fully furnished. They didn't have to do anything. We shuttled them to the grocery store. So they had it pretty good. And do you want to know what some of these clients ended up doing? Do you want to know? They ended up destroying their apartments not long after they moved in. I saw it happen time after time after time. People that were homeless, people that were crying and whining about where they came from, people that were upset with their circumstances, begging to be in our program, caught amnesia the moment they walked through those doors and ended up destroying it. And not only that, dealing drugs and violating their lease over and over and over and over again, and then crying when they got evicted. So, yeah, our homeless people, a lot of them are homeless by choice. That's the truth. And a lot of people don't want to grapple with that fact, but that is the truth. How we solve our homeless crisis is by solving the drug problem, because that's a massive problem. And that, I think, is one of the major contributors to homelessness right now, is the rampant drug or substance abuse that's happening in our nation. So, yeah. So that take, I thought I didn't really agree with. But, I mean, here you have people just criticizing this guy for doing great things. And fortunately, Mr.Beast, he handles the criticism well. So we'll cover that tweet in a little bit. But this isn't the first time again. So, for example, in February, when Mr.Beast partnered with a nonprofit organization to provide sight-restoring surgery. So, yeah, he literally paid to restore people's vision. Seems pretty significant. Mr.Beast personally paid for. He was accused of poverty porn. It's all in the service of enriching himself, one person tweeted, even though he gives all this money back to charity. He cares about the poor people and disabled people because they make him money, another one said. Doctors, nurses don't exploit their patients for dignity for profit. I would disagree with that. I don't know if you guys remember the dance videos during COVID, but I do. And I saw some massive exploitation having there. There's another one. This one was when he was helping the deaf people hear again. The demon of Babylon disguises himself with the coat of the righteous. And this is rich coming from a trans person. Again, the poverty porn thing about him helping restoring sight to the blind. And Mr.Beast actually did end up responding to this. So he said, when we helped, and he brings this up, when we helped people curing 1,000 people, blind people, building 100 people houses, wells. Oh yeah, when he built the wells, the whole country of Kenya was pissed about it. He shamed that entire country because he did something to meet those needs where their own government wouldn't. So he said people get mad and say, I shouldn't be doing this. And government should. Yes, ideally a YouTuber isn't the one fixing these issues, but I'm not just going to stand by and do nothing. Correct approach. He shouldn't stand by and do nothing. If he has the means to help other people, he should absolutely use his resources available to help people in need. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's a good thing. But one thing I actually do disagree with is I don't think it's ultimately the government's responsibility to help the poor, to help the needy. I think that responsibility actually falls on the church. And I think the government stepped in for charity because, the church wasn't doing their part, and also to basically usurp the church, and I think the church, if they were as generous as the Bible calls them to be, if we actually practice what we preach, if we spent time investing in the kingdom and helping meet the needs of people, Oh, I think we could um, do what Mr. Beast is doing and then some. But it takes involvement. It takes skin in the game. It takes a heart and passion for those in need. And it takes a church that's serious about teaching doctrine, because many people just don't understand their role as a Christian or as a church. But that is our responsibility. Our responsibility is to feed the needy, care for the poor, care for the widows, care for the orphans. That's our responsibility, and it's something that we should not take lightly. We should be using our finances, our resources, and talents to help those in the kingdom. And I think in doing so, we would help a tremendous amount of people. Speaking of kingdom news, I wanted to talk about this because this is related to the Mr. Beast thing. So, as you know, if you guys watch this show regularly, you know that I talked about Chris Tyson recently in a video, and this is from Smash Bail. Chris from Mr. Beast abandoned his wife and child to pretend he's a woman. Yep, he did that. He did that. Chandler from Mr. Beast becomes a Christian and does Bible studies on TikTok. Which way, Western Man? Definitely this way.
Today's reading is from Matthew chapter 18, verse 8 and 9. And if your hand or your foot causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life crippled or lame than with 2 hands or 2 feet to be thrown into the eternal fire. And if your eyes causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life with 1 eye than with 2 eyes to be thrown into the hell of fire. It's a pretty scary verse to some, but don't be scared. So, because God will help you with your temptation. So, for example, like when I was, first getting saved, I was listening to all kinds of music, like all kinds of music, and God was starting to tell me to just stop listening to all kinds of music.
You know what's funny about this video? Like, I felt very convicted about something that I had watched. Not a show I watched, and I felt bad about it. And then I actually stumbled across this video just coincidentally, and I was like, oh man, I gotta get it together. Like, I gotta do better. And this convicted me. This short little message I wasn't even expecting, for it to speak to me, but it actually did.
Other than worship music for him, and because it was just making me think different things, like, and it wasn't helping me in my walk with Christ, listening to music that had cursing and just other things, talking about murder or whatever. So it was just messing, like, it was making me think a certain way, the type of music I was listening to. So I cut it off completely, I stopped listening to music, all kinds of music, except for music that glorified God. And it has helped me tremendously with the way I think and the way I speak. And yeah, when I was listening to all kinds of music, I was thinking about the type of music I was listening to. Like, that's the way I would act and talk, and the thoughts that I had to deal with what I was listening to. So I cut it off, and it's been great, and I'm very thankful for the revelation that God gave me. So thank you.
So seeing videos like this is actually pretty encouraging, that he at least has a guy like this on his team, a Christian that's actually reading the word, and he talked about sin in this, read a chapter, calling out, addressing sin. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I hope that, my prayer sincerely, not just for Mr. Beast, but Chris Tyson too, is that God uses a guy like this to speak to them and to change their hearts and to bring the gospel centerfold in their lives, so that they can use their massive platform. I mean, God, how many followers does this guy have now? 295 million followers, man. Imagine if God can use Chandler to cut through their hearts and start to use this to build the kingdom. Imagine the type of influence that they could have. And it's encouraging to see a guy like this, and it seems like he's pretty legit. This was posted on Reddit, so he ended up getting baptized. I think this is like a year ago, and he posted this, little story of him getting baptized. I think that's great, and it's encouraging to me, and I think it's a beautiful thing, and it's something that genuinely fills my heart with joy, seeing people come to the faith. Seeing people surrender their lives to God and giving Him everything that they have, and I hope that God works through him to do a work through Mr.Beast and his crew and everybody that they end up encountering on this adventure of theirs. I think that would be great, and ultimately, I believe that God will work all things together for good, and I think if something starts small, seems small, but ends up snowballing into something much bigger than we ever imagined, and I hope that's the case for this channel. All right, let's talk about coffee. All right, so I have this Rumbles 1775 coffee, and man, is it good stuff. And I'm not just saying that, it actually is pretty good. So it is time to say goodbye to Starbucks and say hello to Rumbles 1775 coffee. Unlike other coffee brands, this coffee is a coffee that backs free speech and is unapologetic about it. Visit 1775.com, use the promo code Studio40 to get 40% off any coffee subscription. The coffee comes in medium and dark roast. It also comes in peaberry, which is similar to Kono coffee. In other words, this stuff is premium. So yeah, get that coffee. Pretty good stuff. Support free speech, because that's awesome, and we want to support free speech. And let's get into this next segment. Okay. All right, so, man, which one do I want to start with? I think I'll start with this one because it's kind of interesting news. Actually, no, I'm not going to start with that one. I'm going to start with this one. Okay, sorry. All right, so this is a video. I'm not going to play this video, by the way. I'm not, because it's disgusting. It's repulsive. And unfortunately, my eyes had to be exposed to this degeneracy while scrolling on Twitter. So Censored Man writes, people are now giving each other blowjobs and pissing on each other in the streets of San Francisco. No joke. That's what's happening here. Another guy's covered up over here, and it's disgusting. It literally made me want to vomit. If you want to subject yourself to that, go for it, but you don't need to. Just take my word for it. It's that bad. So this is happening at a Pride festival in San Francisco, and the cops refuse to do anything about it. And there are minors at this event, mind you, full of naked people doing disgusting acts. Now, supposedly this area was for 18 plus people, but I don't think it was exclusively that. I think there were more kinds of people there, and I think these kids slipped in, and I think it's atrocious. I want to play a video Savannah Hernandez shared because she commented on this, and she was going on about what was happening there, and I thought her commentary was pretty good. Let's see if I can find it. There's so much here. Good long God, I'm never gonna find this video. Never mind. There's too much. But yeah, she was reporting on this along with Taylor, and this is the type of stuff that is actually shocking to me. Like, and I'm very rarely shocked by what these people do. This shocked me. When I saw this, I saw it real quick and kept scrolling. And my brain for a moment couldn't comprehend what I was seeing. Couldn't believe that people would do this type of stuff in public. And my thing is, if these people are doing these disgusting acts, these abominable acts in public, where kids can see, what are they doing behind closed doors? Like, how far does the depravity go? I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. I cannot imagine how evil it actually gets and how debased it actually gets. And I don't think there's an end to it unless Christians start standing up. Christians start taking the word of God seriously. Christians make it a point to use their voice and to show up at these protests to counter them. Like, they should not feel comfortable doing this. I don't care if it's legal. It's evil. It is evil. And I fear what's going to happen if we don't do anything to stop it. And there are laws against this. Like, they're not allowed to be performing sex acts in public. But that is illegal from what I understand. You're not allowed to do that. But our cops are not enforcing the law as they should be. And because they aren't enforcing the law, they get away with it. They get away with all sorts of incredible evil, and no one's willing to stop them. No one's willing to do anything about it. And it's it's going to be the kids who ultimately pay the price. And we're going to see the decline of our civilization because we were too weak and too feckless to even say anything about it. And now we're at the point where I think conservatives do a decent job speaking out against it, but we just can't say, this is horrible, and then do nothing. We need to show up. We need to show up. We need to make sure that kids are not exposed to this. And people know it's not right. Now, don't read. I'm not saying get violent with these people. So I just need to be very clear. I do not advocate for violence at all. But I do advocate for standing up to people. I do advocate for calling these people to repent. I do advocate for exposing these people, filming them, shaming them, and doing everything within our power to try to stop them from doing these types of events. And I do suspect that if there was a force of Christians showing up to this event, that would be enough to intimidate them a little bit. That they might think twice about doing these kinds of things in front of children if there are people that are willing to oppose them. So, maybe next year, maybe the play is that, Christians do counter protest and show up at these events. Phones blaring and try to counter what they're doing. Because it's abominable. It really is. And I am genuinely concerned for what's going to happen to this country if we don't turn this around. Really, sincerely. It's not just the parades too. The parades are symbolic of deeper problems happening. And this is something that unfortunately has real world impact. So let me just show you this from Elijah Schaefer. All right. So holy s, what a effing waste. So this seems like a pretty woman. Yeah, she's very, very pretty. And that's what she did to herself. She made herself ugly, and it's unreal, the transformation that took place with that woman. And maybe this story is why people are unwilling to stand up to it. So this Florida teen was arrested for doing donuts over a pride mural 18-year-old Christian mayor is being charged with a felony criminal mischief and street racing, sparking outrage in the LGBTQ community. The music's making it seem like he's doing something super nefarious, and it's literally just him doing donuts on this abominable pride flag. But yeah, he gets arrested for it because what did he do? He blasphemed their religion. He destroyed one of their sacred symbols, and they can't have that. They can't have that at all. Speaking of people that get arrested, this is a pretty horrific story. So the DOJ just arrested a corn actor named Justin Heath Smith, also known as Austin Wolf, for allegedly sending and receiving graphic images of children and infants. Jesus. One of the videos reportedly showed a 10-year-old tied up. Oh, Jesus, man. This is why that entire industry needs to be destroyed. I mean, it needs to be dismantled, and we're making ground. There are different states passing legislation requiring them to verify, but rather than that website verify, they're shutting it down entirely. They rather shut down the entire website than require verification, which tells you a lot about the company. Like they want minors on the site, and they know that is the core of who their customers are. So they rather cut a state out completely than comply with the law. Pretty disgusting. And I do think that this individual, I think 30 years in prison is too light. Far, far too light. I think harsher penalties need to be leveled against him. Penalties like this. So this is Seattle PD. They shoot a 67-year-old child predator looking to meet 2 children in a sting operation.
Hey, no extra time, Seattle. Gun. Shots fired, shots fired. Suspect down. Help the officer.
They unloaded that whole clip into that guy. And honestly, I'm here for it. I think, swift justice was entirely warranted. He went to reach for his firearm, and it cost him his life. And that is what I call poetic. I think, that was a swift... Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. All right, Cly writes, can't believe the dudes get a felony for doing donuts over the pride flag. With this demonic man has minor abusive content. He needs to be in prison for life. I totally agree. So I had more planned for this episode. I really did, but my daughter needs me right now, so I have to go. Definitely more important. So I will be back next Wednesday. to stream, but I'm taking a hiatus for the week. I'm going on vacation to spend well-needed time with my family. So I got to take care of my daughter right now, though, guys. So I got to log. I hope you have a blessed night. Deuces. I'll see you next week.